Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to The Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. We had a very questionable Friday, but we're leading into Monday with some good vibes. This is not where we want to be. I miss my matchup. Sniper and Buckets have been relatively hot. They have 0 for 2 days, and then Danny Brasco swings and misses on UFC. Listen, obviously, we got to do better than this. We're having more winning days than losing days, but sometimes these really bad days do pop up. We're going to try to do better, and we're going to do it with the stars of the show, which, by the way, includes all of you, Josh Lucero, Ricks, Jason, Big Cheesy in here, Dominic. Thank you for being J Metz, Moshi, Kylie, Bradley. Thanks for being in here. Hit the like button. Zack Cimini, we got buckets. We got prop stars. Zach, you saw that recap screen. It's not very good. We plan on rebounding. You got an MLB pick today, correct?
I do, and hopefully I can get a winner. I'm tacking another total. I was watching preseason football yesterday, with some of the MLB. The Detroit Tigers-Yankees game was excellent, but Brock Purdy threw a couple of questionable throws, and then the other game, Green Bay. We all love Jordan Love, but my goodness, their backup quarterback situation is just pathetic. They could not move the football. They could not throw the football. It was just hard to watch. I don't know if that was LaFleur just not giving them proper plays to even have success or what, but I think they're going to have to be in the backup quarterback market.
That's a really good point. Obviously, they didn't play their starters, and that goes kind of across the board, not just the quarterback position. So you anticipate them not looking very good. But Propstarz, I go to you because we're about to get into soccer picks. We're going to get to MLB picks. You have an NFL future you want to give out. I kind of have an NFL future I want to give out because I cheated and I saw yours. So I have one that kind of correlates to yours to a degree. But speaking of futures, we're Doug Williams days away from NFL season. And I got to say, you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I know you have a comment that you want to piggyback off of Zach. So we'll get to that in a second. I don't see a scenario like when odds came out for the Super Bowl, the Eagles opened at 20-1. And we talked about it. We're like, why is it 20-1? I know that they had a really bad end of the season, but they've had a makeover, especially on the defensive side of the ball. All of a sudden, those odds have been reduced to around 15-1. But I'm looking at the Eagles at -120 to win the NFC East. And I'm sorry, I just don't see. Washington looks a little bit better. Giants don't look very good. Dallas doesn't look very good, in my opinion. I don't see a scenario where I just don't take that right now. Anyway, your comment on that, it's your Philadelphia Eagles. You know better than I do. And anything you wanted to mention about the Packers, the preseason in general.
First and foremost, good morning, gentlemen. Hello, chat. Shout out to everybody. What's up, producer Jake as well. Zach, I did want to clarify, not everybody loves Jordan Love. I actually believe this Packers team are one of my favorite potential regression candidates and are being extremely overvalued in the marketplace right now. So just wanted to call my shot and make that very clear as we stand right now. But yeah, regarding my Philadelphia Eagles, I'm in agreement here. Obviously, this will come across as a homer take, but I just think this Eagles team, top to bottom, one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. Absolutely love the addition of Kellen Moore to the Philadelphia Eagles offense. I believe that is going to pay massive dividends, as well as Vic Fangio, one of the most respected defensive coordinators over the past couple decades in the NFL. So I think both of them will add a tremendous amount of stability. They had a tremendous offseason, numerous acquisitions. We all know about Saquon Barkley, had the great draft as well, adding Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. So just a matter of can they get all this talent to get on the same page. I believe that they will. I believe they're highly motivated. I also love the fact that they signed or re-signed A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to lucrative extensions, just locking up that core nucleus. So no potential problems in the locker room as far as the offense is concerned. The defense, talent all over the place. I think the NFC is very top heavy. I think it's the Eagles. I think it's the Lions. I think San Francisco still is in the mix there as well. Those stick out as the three top teams to me. So I think there's a big gap or a big drop off after those three teams. But certainly I think the Eagles possess as much talent, if not more, than any roster in the NFC.
I totally agree. I mean, listen, the San Francisco 49ers, there's teams in the NFC that are maybe a touch better, if not, on the same playing field. I actually think maybe the biggest problem with the Eagles and you're going to hate me for saying this. I think it might be Nick Sirianni. I think that might, because of the locker room culture. Like, I'm not exactly sure everybody's on the same page with kind of like frat boy-ish Nick Sirianni. I don't know that plays well in this particular locker room. Buckets, I got to ask you something, because CID, we're going to get to your 2 soccer picks in a second. CID says, Sia, last year at this time, your first 5s were on fire. Let's bring that back. And it's true, last year at this time they were, but I've been ice cold in MLB like for a little while now. And what I'm worried about, because I have a first 5 pick for tonight, I'm worried you're going to challenge me in a showdown and win for the 3rd time in a row. So can I get a vibe or feel with whether or not you're going to be challenging me today?
Unless if you're betting against the White Sox, you're not going to get a challenge from me.
Yes,
That's what I'm doing now.
I'm not betting against Sox Nation or the White Sox in the chat. Proppy, go ahead.
Did I just hear correctly, Sia, that Buckets has won 2 consecutive showdowns against you, Sia? I believe it was this time last year, if I recall correctly, that Buckets was something like 0-19. Yeah. Certainly the tides have turned in Buckets' favor here. Buckets, what are we spending this newfound showdown money on?
Well, for the money I'm taking from Sia, I'm actually just putting in savings because I plan on losing it again to Sia. But from the 100 I took off Sniper betting on the White Sox last week, that I did have some fun with.
All right. Well, if you wanna fade me, no offense taken, because I'm losing showdowns to Buckets. I'm losing golf bets. It's been nice with golf for me over the last 2 months, but last week was actually quite bad. So I've been a little cold. I got to heat up here, but Buckets, you haven't been cold. So let's talk. Listen, I know it was 0-2 on Friday, but you've been pretty warm here. Let's talk about a couple official plays in soccer.
I've been having a pretty good time, Sia, and I'm looking at the La Liga matchup here this afternoon to start between Villarreal and Atletico Madrid. And you know those easy buttons where you press it and says that was easy? I need to find one of those where you press it and it goes, this is a stupid line, because Atletico Madrid over 1.5 team total at -115 is outrageous. I might put 2 units on this one, and I'm not even going to think twice about it because this Atletico Madrid side is just that good. Villarreal is fine, but they lost their best goal scorer, Alexander Sorloth, to, let me check. That's right, Atletico Madrid. This team has Alexander Sorloth. They have Julian Alvarez, who was one of the best strikers on the planet right now. They still have Joao Felix. This is a team that has so many good strikers, and I know it's the opening game, and I know it's on the road, but I think Atletico Madrid might score 2 in the first half here. So take that 1.5 team total at -115 all day. And if you want an extra goal scorer, Sorloth and Alvarez are both plus odds to score. So just some extra leans there as well. Then for my second play, I'm going to Italy's Serie A in a big matchup between Juventus and Como 1907. Como is an impressive team, to say the least. They did a tremendous job to get promoted, but now they're getting a baptism by fire as they take on a Juventus side led by Dusan Vlahovic, who has been in form at the end of last season and in preseason this year. I'm taking Dusan Vlahovic anytime goal scorer at +110 because this is a matchup where I think, again, Juventus win by 2 or 3 goals. If you're going to see 2 or 3 goals from Juventus, Vlahovic should be in at least one of those. He might end up picking up a brace here as well.
All right, Vlahovic, anytime goal scorer +110. And Atletico Madrid team total over 1.5. You're getting a golf clap from Propstarz. By the way, BMW Championship, speaking of golf, we'll have our early wedge show tomorrow at 7 o'clock with EC, who hit another outright in Hideki Matsuyama. It was in the without market, so it was only +1,800. But I wanted to give EC another shout out. That's 2 weeks in a row for him. Very impressive stuff. Buckets, real quick, follow up from our guy, Bradley Jacobs. Atletico, I know you have the team total over 1.5, but I think he's asking, do you like the money line in that game as well for Atletico?
I do, yeah. Money line. I like the money line. And honestly, I like money line both teams to score as well here. I think this is a very exciting 3-1 kind of win for Atletico Madrid.
All right, I love it. Propstarz, you got something exciting to say.
What were the odds that Buckets was going to use the term baptism by fire heading into this show in that amazing segment? Buckets, please expand upon that.
So I got that from the guru, actually. I heard him say that on like my second show, and I was like, holy shit, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. I wrote it down, and I use it as much as I can now.
Very impressive stuff. Speaking of gurus, speaking of experts, speaking of guys that all of you probably miss, Tom Casale. It's college football season coming up. We're just 5 days away from college football season. Of course, 17 from NFL kickoff. And we've got picks up on SportsLine already. And you honestly, like, this is just me talking. Tom Casale is one of the most talented college football, NFL, but particularly college football, college basketball cappers I've ever been around. So he's already got a pick. He's taken a dog. This is our SportsLine pick Florida State, this is in 5 days. We got 6 games on Saturday. I think this is probably the featured one, college football week 0. Georgia Tech plus 12.5 against Florida State. Again, Georgia Tech plus 12.5 is our pick from our guy, Tom Casale, who you'll be hearing from a lot more coming up as we approach college football season. But of course, you're going to see his picks on SportsLine. So please don't forget, you get a microcosm of the picks here. You get the whole swath of picks on sportsline.com. You know how to join. We'll tell you about that later. And if you want to make that pick, if you want to make that plus 12.5 pick, go to BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly. If your bet loses with bonus code EDGE, that's bonus code EDGE. All right, Proppy, we got to get to your NFL pick. And then we got picks for the Monday slate in MLB that we got to get to. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners. We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. And we've got some shout outs for Tom Casale, which I absolutely love. Gipper's Pick says, Tom is definitely very solid. J-Met says he was great in college basketball. He really is fantastic. All right, Propstars, let's get to an NFL future before we attack this Monday MLB slate. What's the play that you like? I could have sworn I might have heard about this maybe on a CBS Sports Network show that you were on.
Indeed, Sia. That's how much I like this play, and it's still available at the number that I gave it out. And it's Chicago Bears rookie wide receiver, the 9th overall pick, Rome Odunze, to go under 54.5 receptions on this season. This isn't at all a knock on Rome Odunze, who I believe is an elite talent and will eventually become or develop into a very good NFL wide receiver. This has a lot to do with the situation that he's in on the Chicago Bears, in addition to the depth chart. This Bears team has a bevy of capable pass catchers led by DJ Moore, who just signed a large extension. Keenan Allen was acquired in the offseason as well from the Chargers. He is a target monster and a quarterback's best friend as he soaks up all those intermediate targets near the line of scrimmage as well. Safety blanket. You also have Cole Kmet, who really started to emerge as a viable pass-catching move tight end. And I wouldn't sleep on DeAndre Swift either. He's one of the best pass-catching running backs in the NFL. So that's at least 4 guys who are going to have pretty significant target floors. So I just don't see the targets being available for Rome Odunze in this Bears offense when they're operating at full strength. Also, having watched or been paying close attention to the Bears offense, Rome Odunze is going to be primarily deployed as a deep threat. That is his real calling card as a wide receiver. That's his skill that's going to translate right away. He's still a bit raw and needs to develop when it comes to his route running, particularly in the short and intermediate portions of the field. So he's going to be getting he's going to be working down the field. That's just not going to be a high target volume role for him either. So I just think 55 receptions is such a major ask and a huge number for him and his role in the offense and the depth chart. I just do not see the targets being there. I would make this number at 49.5 at the most. I still lean under there. Honestly, I think it's closer to 45. 55 receptions is just a huge number for him. So this is one of my favorite fades in the season-long market. I would run, not walk. I think this is, in order for him to eclipse this, would require at least one injury to either DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, a season-ending injury, in addition to a couple other things breaking in his favor. So absolutely love fading Rome Odunze under 54.5 receptions in the season-long prop market.
Yeah, what's interesting here, and I'll keep this short, is that I like Keenan Allen's under, but not in the receptions, in the receiving yards, 775.5. This is a play I gave out on the network last week. I could actually see, the one thing I'll say, Proppy, is I, just like you, we both love Rome Odunze's talent. This is not a play on Rome Odunze's lack of talent, obviously. It's just how he's going to fit into this offense in year one. But I could actually see him taking a few snaps from Keenan Allen that we're not expecting, because I think Keenan Allen's going to fall a little bit. But either way, I think what this tells me, and I want to get your opinion on this too, if you're going to take overs in this offense, especially from a yardage standpoint, isn't the answer, if you're going to do it. We like to take unders when we're talking futures, but if you're going to do it, DJ Moore's the guy, correct?
Absolutely. DJ Moore also possesses a skill set where he's capable of catching a screen pass and going to the house. So, yes, I would say DJ Moore being the most explosive player on the offense. Keenan Allen really doesn't have the yards after the catch ability. Same goes for Cole Kmet. So he'd be the only player I'd consider in the offense going over on 100% agree there, Sia.
All right, absolutely. David Talk says he saw someone take Caleb Williams in round 4 of his redraft league, $200 entry redraft league at that. And he says he could not believe it. I can't believe that either. Please give me access to that league next year. Would really, really appreciate it. Not that we don't like Caleb Williams, but 4th round value is way, way too much. Unless it's like a 16 or 18 person league, then maybe I'd reconsider. All right, let's go to my play. We're going to the first 5 market. We're not taking a winner. We're taking an under here. A little boring. It's the last game of the night. We got Brian Wu on the mound against Gavin Stone, Dodgers, Mariners. I like the first 5 under here. Like, I don't think Freddie Freeman's playing in this one, so we have that going for us. But Brian Wu has been really good. Now, granted, he's also been really good against somewhat inferior competition, but everything is lining up for Brian Wu, and he gets a lineup that's devoid of Freddie Freeman. I like that side of it for him. As far as Gavin Stone, he's been a little up and down, but he gets this Mariners lineup that, yes, put up a bunch of runs yesterday in crushing the Pittsburgh Pirates, but this team can't hit. They showed it in the 5 losses prior to yesterday, where they're just not putting up a lot of runs. So I think it's a good spot. I said Rome's like Rome Odunze. I'm still stuck. It must be NFL season. But either way, I like the first 5 under here, 4.5. I could see this going down to 4 and getting kind of like an even money play by the time this pitches. I don't really hate that, but I really like the under 4.5 at -125. So we're going first 5 under 4.5 in that Dodgers Mariners game. Somebody in the chat, Zach, before I get to your pick, somebody in the chat, I think it was Big Cheesy, said Propstar's voice just sounds like football. Propstars, your response. That's got to be one of the biggest compliments you've ever received.
That just made my day, Cheesy. So absolutely so pumped for football. I am knee deep, diving in, full steam ahead at Propstars HQ. Sia. So be on the lookout. It'll be pretty much primarily NFL content from here. I could not be more excited.
Yeah, we've got everything up at SportsLine too, including NFL team previews. You can see all of that in the YouTube description. We've got it all kind of laid out for you in terms of how you can sign up, and we tell you every day, of course, but you can look in the YouTube description and see where these NFL previews are, how you can access them, where you can listen to this show on YouTube. Not on YouTube, but on any other platform. All right, Zach, it's time to listen to you. You are also going to the Monday MLB slate. What's the play?
Yeah, I've got to attack a total C. I'm going to go under 9 runs between the Baltimore Orioles and New York Mets. This is juiced at -120. You look at the season stats overall, both teams rank in the top 5 in home runs and runs overall. But in the month of August, we've seen both teams take a dip. In particular, the New York Mets just 21st in home runs, 16th in runs overall. We saw it in their last series against the Miami Marlins. Yesterday had a chance to tie it. They had runners on first and second base, no outs in the 9th inning, could not advance. The runners end up losing by scoring just 2 runs. And you look at the Baltimore Orioles starting pitcher, very familiar name in Trevor Rogers, pitched against this Mets team for his first 5 seasons in Major League Baseball. On July 21st, in a matchup against the Mets, he gave up just 1 run. So I'm expecting Rodgers to have a good start for the Orioles. This first couple have been a little bit spotty. And then you look at David Peterson as well. In 4 of his last 5 starts, he has given up 2 runs or less. This total has just moved from 8.5 to 9. Go under here on the 9 runs.
All right, we have somebody in the chat. We'll take the under there. We have somebody in the chat, Brad Morris, talking about Keon Coleman futures, which he's an interesting guy because I think he's got a high ceiling and a very low floor, 625.5 season receiving yards. This reminds me of something, Zach, and I want to get your opinion. When Propstarz and I were on with Katie Mox and I believe it was Larry Hartstein on Friday talking Bills futures, me and Propstarz were so on opposite sides here that like it was almost like a full-blown argument. He likes the Bills this year. I really don't like the Bills this year. But because we have sort of a Bills-ish future from Brad Morris in the chat, I want to ask you to break the tie. Do you like the Bills this year? You think they win their division? You think they go over their win total? Or you down on the Bills?
I'm a little bit down on the Bills. They were very disappointing from an ATS standpoint last year, especially in the second half of the season. Primetime games were woeful. Besides that comeback in the regular season finale against the Miami Dolphins. But I just expect them to take a dip. They've lost a lot of personnel. You look at Josh Allen, I think, what is it? He's averaged 4,300 passing yards over the last 5 seasons, and his prop is listed at 3,700 yards. So that definitely means he's probably going to take a dip. This offense is going to take a dip. It's going to be more tailored to the ground game, and the division's going to be better as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy. We know that the Dolphins are going to play well. So I think for me, I have Buffalo Bills in that 3rd spot in the division.
This is interesting. Probably before you respond, Mark Buckholt says, I'm not high on Buffalo, says Mark, but I feel like game scripts may help Coleman, Shakir. I'm sure he says, et cetera, like Dalton Kincaid, maybe Dawson Knox, so on and so forth. So respond to Zach. I mean, just a quick response. We don't want to go too long, but also respond to maybe like Keon Coleman and Shakir. Are you high on their props, or are you just kind of, you don't know exactly where the distribution is going to go, so you're just not touching that stuff?
6-1 since Joe Brady took over offensive play calling duties and replaced Ken Dorsey as offensive coordinator. So they played well down the stretch with Joe Brady at the helm. So I think Buffalo's offense is being undervalued. Everyone's down on the Bills, which honestly makes me even more bullish on them. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily thinking the Bills are a viable Super Bowl contender, but I do think they're more than capable of winning 9 or 10 games with Josh Allen and the bevy of young talent that they have on the roster. Dalton Kincaid, James Cook, they still have a good offensive line. Defensively, they've drafted well. They have solid depth. So I still have confidence that they're capable. This team is capable of winning 10 games. I don't necessarily believe that they're, the class of the AFC. So just wanted to make that clear. As far as the pass catching distribution is concerned, I'm taking a wait and see approach. I am very bullish on Khalil Shakir. I do believe that he is going to be a viable wide receiver 3 for fantasy football purposes. And I do think he's going to have a full-time role in that offense, will ultimately be somewhat of a safety blanket for Josh Allen. Certainly a lot of targets up for grabs with the departure of Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. But to me, the passing offense is going to primarily run through Dalton Kincaid, who's one of the most athletic move tight ends in the NFL. They use him as a big wide receiver. They line him up all over the formation. I really believe in year 2, typically tight ends take a while to learn the nuances of the position, lots of blocking assignments. So yeah, more so than almost any other position on offense does it take time for tight ends to really grasp the playbook. So I think big things are coming from Dalton Kincaid. But that's my overview as far as the Bills are concerned. Not necessarily backing them, but I also think the consensus fade of them is a bit premature.
All right, fair enough. Buckets, we got to ask you before we get to the recap screen. People are mentioning the nunchucks, any bruises or self-batterings practicing with your nunchucks. And was there anything in the chat from a soccer standpoint you needed to address?
One thing I do want to address is people asking about the Tottenham Spurs match taking place this afternoon. Just know that we don't know if Solanke is going to start yet. That could be a big deciding factor into how this team attacks. But regardless, with Leicester City missing Jamie Vardy and missing Daka, I think Spurs win that game kind of easy, 2-0, 2-1 kind of thing. With the nunchucks, I actually got a call from my brother saying, isn't it illegal to own nunchucks in Ohio? So I need to look more into that before I say anything.
Wow. Okay. Well, let us know what that is. Maybe you'll be saving other people as well. Zach, did you have something in response before we get to the recap screen, Propstarz and the Bills talk there?
Just on that 6-1 record, I think it is a bit misleading. They did win games, but it wasn't the same style you're used to from the Buffalo Bills. Besides that game against Dallas, which was their one true blowout, but I'm just not impressed with that Bills team going into the season.
Yeah, I'll say this. It could be, speaking of Joe Brady, it could be kind of the James Cook show. I encourage everybody to subscribe to Fantasy Football Today DFS. You'll see me and Meg Schaup and, of course, Mike McClure on that show throughout the season. But we have a couple of shows coming up this week as well. I think in terms of week 1 NFL DFS, I think James Cook is a really interesting target against Arizona, something we've already talked about on an episode we recorded a week ago. But conversation like that will be occurring over the next couple of weeks on Fantasy Football Today DFS. Just find it anywhere you find your podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube as well. But yeah, James Cook, I think, is an interesting piece. Maybe that helps Josh Allen out a little bit if they can kind of commit to him and keep that defense off the field. That's my problem with the Bills more than anything, is the turnover on defense. And now you had a Matt Milano injury. It just doesn't look good for this defense holding anybody down, especially in division with teams like the Jets and the Dolphins. All right, let's see. It's NFL season. These shows may go long here and there. We're going to try to get to some MLB home run props later on in the week. I saw a couple of people asking about that, but let's take a look at the recap screen before we get out of here. A couple of baseball plays. Dodgers, Mariners, first 5 under 4.5 at -125. That's my play. Zack Cimini, Mets, Orioles under 9 at -120. Propstarz, NFL future. Roma Dunze under 54.5 receptions at -110. I kind of also like Keenan Allen under 775.5 receiving yards, just as an FYI there. Buckets, Atletico Madrid, team total over 1.5 at -115. And Lavovic. Oh, I messed that up. Lahovic, right? Did I get that right? Anytime goal score +110?
Close enough.
Close enough indeed. SportsLine, college football week 0. I don't know why they keep calling it that, but we're just going to go with it. Georgia Tech, that's in 5 days, folks. So Georgia Tech +12.5. Yes, we're Darren McFadden days away from college football season. Doug Williams days away from NFL season. Cannot wait. Tomorrow, come with your favorite number 16s, your favorite college football number 4s. Get them in the chat. I love talking football, but we have soccer to talk about. We have MLB to talk about. We're going to mix it up all week and in the coming weeks with college football, with NFL, with MLB, with soccer, you name it, WNBA. We're going to have picks for you, and you got picks on SportsLine as well. Again, check out the YouTube description for all the things you can get at SportsLine. It's all at your fingertips. Brad Morris helping me with the pronunciation. Love that. Liddy says, great show, crew. Good luck, everybody. See you tomorrow. That's a great way to end the show. See you tomorrow, everybody. On behalf of Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, Zack Cimini, of course, Buckets and Propstarz, and myself, the Counselor of Cash. This is the Early Edge. We rest our case.